Hi everyone, today we're going to discuss a very interesting read. Okay, so don't forget to watch it completely. Okay, the book is Clash of Civilization. Did you ever question to yourself that in a pre 1990 era, when two major world powers were intact and they were in a Cold War? Okay, so did you ever imagine that if there are two superpowers and one just gets smashed and get out of the race, so what will happen? Okay, so no international relation paper or a journal indicated that the world will witness that there will be only one superpower after 1990, and there will be end of Cold War without any war, a major war or a conflict. Okay, so it was peaceful, quite peaceful, as was indicated in some of the journals of IR that in the aftermath of one dissolution of one power, there will be so much human loss. Okay, so in the wake of end of one superpower, that was USSR, and this article was published in 1992 by Francis Fukuyama by the name of End of History. That was a book actually. So Francis Fukuyama, there are two major thought processes in the IER. One is liberalist and the second one are realist. So Francis Fukuyama is from the liberal thought process school. Okay, so what is liberal thing is liberalists are very optimist people, and they just show very bright things. Okay, so he proposed that after the end of USSR supremacy in a world bloc, and there is only one power, and that is US, of course. So the aftermath of that would be to impose the values of US and the liberal society and liberal democracy and the cultural things into the other parts of the world. So it will be a huge benefit to the humankind to just flourish the democracy everywhere. So impose our super rich culture everywhere. So it was like that. But in response to that, in 1995, Professor Huntington wrote an article in a journal of IR that there is no easy way there. Okay, so it will not be very easy to impose the values and the cultural values of US or the West, like US, UK, Germany and France are the core countries. Huntington wrote in the book as well the core states. So the West core states cultures won't be able to impose on the other civilizations. So the basic idea of Huntington, Professor Huntington, is that it is no of use to impose Western culture on the other civilizations, and he described that we can count, or we can say that there are 8 different civilizations, with core states. Some of them don't have the core states yet established, but mostly they have core states. Okay, so he warned actually that it's not a good idea to establish or impose the cultural values on the other cultures apart from the West. Okay, so what is the culture? The cultural definition by the Huntington is that it contains the religion, it contains the language, okay, and the other cultural things. The main part of the culture would be the religion and language. On that basis, he defines 8 cultural civilizations, which are Western and Latin American, African civilization. Number 4 is Islamic civilization. Number 5th is Confucian civilization, that is the core state is China, and Hindu civilization, and India is the core state, and 7 is Slavic Orthodox, that is USSR, and 8 is Japanese civilization. Okay, so these 8, and number 1 is Western civilization have 50 countries have Western civilization, 35 have Latin American, and 50 for African, and 57 for Islamic. Other have only one countries. Okay, Confucian civilization only China, Hindu civilization only India, Slavic Orthodox only USSR, and Japanese civilization only Japan. Okay, so after that, defining the 8 civilization, he warned the West civilization to do not impose your cultural things on the other 7 civilizations. And the main point is that the nationalism is not stronger than the cultural civilization power. For example, if a Yemeni is going to America and he does a crime, the people will say that Islamic person or Muslim person did that, not a Yemeni person, because he belongs to the Islamic civilization. Okay, so it's very rigid, it's very long rooted, so you can't just grab it and take it out. Okay, so there are 6 points he defines. On the basis of that, he warned that the West should not impose its civilization onto other 7 civilizations. The points are: number 1 is the cultural differences are basic. Okay, the basics are very much different. So if you are a UK citizen and a US citizen, you can have some differences, but not the basic differences, not the basic cultural difference. But if you are in Pakistan and you are a US citizen, US born citizen, then the cultural differences are huge. Okay, so number 1 point is this. Number 2 is rigidity of cultural difference. So it's long rooted, thousands of years are behind that, and you can't just ignore that. Number 3 is policy of globalizing. Okay, so the same countries have some globalizing effect, and Pakistan and India can't be like UK, US. Okay, there's so much difference in that, in the globalizing effects. Number 4 is weakening of identities. So the world is globalization, and weakening of identities is no longer exist. Okay, so you can't ignore the identity of a person, you can't impose your identity on other civilizations person. That okay, so hope you understand. Number 5th is West has threat from non-West. So the West is always thinking that there's a threat from the non-West. It's a huge mistake. He is saying that West should not be moving like it, and they should have a cordial relationship with the other civilization. And mostly he thinks that the West think that Islamic civilization is the threat for the West. Okay, so the 6th one is economic regionalism problem in future. So he says that if you are a US citizen, if you develop an economic zone or doing economical activity in UK, you will be succeeded because your culture and that culture is similar. But if you are going to Pakistan or China, a US firm, that won't be succeeded, okay, because the cultural difference is so high. So I think, in my opinion, with the passage of time, it was published in 1995, so it's around 25 years now. But most of the companies have the Apple and Google and Microsoft companies have their branches in China as well, in India as well, PayPal, something like that. They are earning huge money out of that. So this point, as far as I know, is not so much valid. Okay, so again, he's talking about the clashes. He talks about there will be two types of clashes, okay, micro clashes and macro clashes. So the micro clashes are because of territory. When you have a when you want to grab land and they resist, that's a micro clash. But if you attack the values and cultures of any nation, that is a macro clash, okay. So they will strive their best effort to attack you, okay. So he's again warning US and the West civilizations to don't have an attack or a mindset to replace or change the cultural and values of other 7 civilizations with yours, okay. So he also said that the violence will be from the um, orthodox people, like Islamic people will retaliate more, and there will be so much violence, and the hard-hitting component will be Islamic terrorism. Islamic civilization will push back, okay. So after that, he discussed about the tone states. What is a tone states? If there is a country like a US and there is a neighbor country like Cuba, let's say, is for example, so the A state will become so much powerful that the B state will adopt the culture and values of A state, because that is so much powerful. And but the B state, which is a small one, will not adopt the values and culture by heart, okay. It will feel, the people will feel that they are imposed on you, on that society, okay. So the term he used, the bandwagoning. The state B, the smaller one, will be bandwagoning, okay. So it will be the adverse effects in the long run for that state. Other concept is the last I would discuss, that about the kin country syndrome defined in this book is about, for example, he states that when US attacked on the Iraq was attacking Kuwait, but when US attacked Iraq, Saddam Hussein said that the US attacked on Islam, okay, on a Muslim state, and that's why, because he used that cultural or the civilization point, okay, in his favor. And last point, he said that the Chinese will not retaliate directly if you impose your values and culture on the China. China will not directly oppose you. China will use Islamic civilization and will use that indirectly against you, against the West, okay. So if you hit China with your imposition of values and culture of West to the China will not directly clash with you, will through the Islamic civilization. Okay, so some of the authors, it's a very controversial as well. People opposed this book so much, and some of people saying that There are 27 civilizations. Why Huntington only defined 8? Okay, in my view, because he defined in a very beginning that civilization is the collection of religion and language. That's why on the basis of it, and with the more people in a one group, he defined 8 groups. In my opinion, it's quite fair. And hope you enjoyed this, and it's a very interesting read, a little bit complex to read, but I'm sure you will start it. And its Urdu translation is also available, like Tehzeeb Tasadum, so you can read it as well. Thank you so much.